The saving of even just one life can be an act of bravery and supreme humanity. The saving of many lives can be inspiring. More inspiring are those who haven't saved hundreds or thousands of lives, but millions of lives. I'm Jake the Voice Par, and these are 10 people who literally saved millions of lives. We start our countdown with number 10, and a man that many consider to be the father of the modern computer. Alan Turing was a brilliant English mathematician and scientist who worked as part of a secret code-cracking team at Bletchley Park in England during World War II. It was his tireless efforts that allowed the Allies to crack the Enigma code of the Nazis. By doing so, the Allies were more quickly able to defeat Nazi Germany and thereby save millions of lives. Turing simply never gave up, and millions can thank him for that. At number 9 is an English surgeon who has no doubt caused millions of lives to be saved during surgery. Joseph Lister was appalled at the high levels of death occurring on surgery tables in the mid-1800s. He was convinced that these deaths were due to the terrible hygiene being practiced by surgeons. He chose to sterilize all his surgical instruments and hands at all times, and immediately, none of his patients died. His work was contributed greatly to the germ theory of disease as we know it today. Surgery is now so much safer, all thanks to Joseph Lister and his obsession with clean hands. At number 8 on our list is the man that made blood transfusions safe for millions of people. Karl Daniel was an Austrian biologist and physician who understood that people could not just have anyone's blood transfused into their body. It was thanks to his identification of the different blood groups in the 1900s that people ever since has been able to get blood transfusions without endangering their lives. He was also the co-founder of the polio virus. No wonder Landsteiner won the Nobel Peace Prize for Medicine in 1930. Number 7 on our list is dedicated to the man who made antibiotics possible. The Scottish biologist Alexander Fleming may have been messy in his laboratory, but it's thanks to that messiness that he was able to discover that certain bacteria cultures were being destroyed by a fungus. Penicillin had been discovered, and with it, antibiotics that almost overnight cured previously terrible diseases such as meningitis, diphtheria, and pneumonia. Millions of lives have since been saved, all thanks to a brilliant scientist and his messy lab. At number 6 on our countdown is the little-known story of a remarkable woman. Her name was Frances Oldham Kelsey, and she was the drug researcher assigned by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, in 1960 to review a new drug called thalidomide. She refused to approve the drug on patient safety grounds. However, other countries allowed the morning sickness drug for pregnant women that resulted in thousands of deformed babies being born worldwide, except in the United States. Kelsey's uncompromising ethos regarding drug reviews before the norm and has subsequently saved millions of lives. And number 5 is the second woman on the countdown. Henrietta Lacks was just an ordinary woman who died of cervical cancer in a Baltimore hospital in 1951, aged just 31. Researchers immediately used her cells to create the HeLa cell line, which would be the first immortalized cell line that can reproduce indefinitely under certain conditions. The HeLa cell line, named in honor of Henrietta Lacks, continues to be invaluable in medical research to this day. Sad is that Lacks would never get to know just how many lives she helped saved. Number 4 on our countdown is Niels Boland, a Swedish engineer and inventor. He is the man given credit for having invented the car safety belt as we know them today. It was while working for Swedish car maker Volvo that Boland worked on his design for a far improved safety belt. The design would become the 3-point harness that allows no part of the body receive the full force of a crash. He also designed the safety lock to be in the side of the person rather than across their chest. Auto safety experts agree that Boland's revolutionary seatbelt design has probably saved tens of millions of lives to this day. At number 3, we have 3 men whose bravery alone is awe-inspiring. The 1986 fire at the Chernobyl nuclear power station in the former Soviet Union was the worst nuclear-related disaster to date. In order to avert a full meltdown, the nuclear reactor had to be flooded. However, the water eventually needed to be drained. Unfortunately, only humans could do the task. The 3 Soviet men who volunteered were Alexei Ananenko, Valery Bespalov, and Boris Baranov, and they literally had to swim in radioactive sludge in order to drain the reactor. The 3 men died within 2 weeks from the extreme radiation, and millions of lives were saved across Europe. Appearing at number 2 is James Harrison, an ordinary Australian with an extraordinary contribution to modern medicine. It turns out that Harrison's blood is extremely rare in that it has the antibody to rhesus disease, a once deadly disease that killed thousands of children every year. Today, a pregnant woman can have an Rh test and, if positive, she is given a shot of antibodies from Harrison's blood, and her baby thus protected. Harrison has done over 1,000 blood donations to date, and over 2 million babies have been saved. On September 26, 1983, a single man prevented the outbreak of nuclear war. The extraordinary man was Stanislav Petrov, a Russian lieutenant corporal in the Soviet army who was in charge of early detection warning systems. On that day, the system showed that several US missiles were on their way to the USSR. Petrov refused to believe the data and didn't report it to his superiors. It turns out it was indeed a glitch in the system and a false alarm. Petrov single-handedly averted the Third World War. That is why he is known as the man who saved the world, and that is also why he is at number 1 on our countdown. Those then are 10 people who literally saved millions of lives. For more top lists just like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to check out our other top lists. Thank you very much for watching, and thanks for learning.